After a week of wait, we're here. We're here in Bahrain for the round 5 of Ero's Season 8. Pc F1 division, that is. Welcome to today's race where Irvin Curtin and Tony Rich will prove once again that they're championship materials and these will be the two drivers fighting for the championship. Unless something happens, then we're going to have other contenders. My name is Wojciech Śmigowski, I'm the owner and the founder and the commentator of today's race, and also the league. And my co-commentator today is Dino Puskadija, the PC F2 champion of Season 7.
Hello everyone. Yes, hello everyone. Welcome, like was said, to Bahrain. It is definitely going to be an interesting race. We saw in previous seasons, if you've watched any, that this race proves a lot of points, actually. It has a lot of straights, so a lot of overtaking opportunities. Definitely, it has a very difficult sector too, making setups very interesting. So you might see some people choosing a low down for setup or a high down for setup, considering how they want to choose. So it does prove a lot of different strategy as well, because the hards wear out a lot. So it is going to be interesting to see what our drivers are going to choose in the race. But who do you think is going to be our main contender for pole position?
Red Bulls. That's all I can say. Red Bulls.
I mean, yeah, but who of the Red Bulls?
Both.
Sure. I agree.
One
I
of
agree.
these, definitely. I cannot
Both
decide
Corton and Tony do have a lot of experience here, and I think they are the fastest. I think some people of the grid aren't really that fast in Bahrain, but of course we'll just have to wait and see as qualifying has started with Dirksen leading the way as the first guy out on track.
By the way, we need to get the moment of truth. How many drivers did not pick the correct number in game? But I can see already one in the garage board. So we're going to have at least 2 reaches today. 3.
I'm gonna try to say two people.
Yep. Checking. But I haven't even turned on SimHub, so that's the interesting case. But this will be remade pretty soon. Just waiting for it to download, and we will see. This is the grid as of now. The reserves are Filip Kielar, who's from PCF3, Patryk Maciczak, who's from PCF2, Darius Bodan is also from PCF2, Dirksen is PCF1 reserve. So that's about the reserves. Also, can we...
And speaking of the Dirksen, yeah?
Speaking of which, let me check if this will load in. Because this is an issue from my side. Now I deserve 2 penalty points.
While you're checking that, Milan Dirksen is the first guy out on track. Currently, the Aston Martin reserve, like Voice said. He is going to be the first guy to set lap, so we can just probably go on board with him to see what kind of lap he is going to be doing. So, this is the longest straight on the track. Probably a lot of overtaking opportunities going into turn 1. DRS is the whole straight, and as you go into the turn 1, you want to brake at the 100-meter board. Brake as hard as you possibly can. Go to maybe second or third gear, short shift to fourth instantly to get the best traction out of the corner. As you see, Milan Dirksen has gotten a very good traction, actually. We have another DRS zone going into turn 4. Also a pretty difficult corner. You want to go as wide as you possibly can. Also fourth or fifth gear or better traction. Now entering sector 2, turns 5 and 6, very technical and difficult. If you touch the curbs a little bit, you might cause your car to just spin. Now going into probably the most difficult part of the circuit, turns 9 and 10. As you see, he hugs the outside curb, which beached his car and invalidates his lap, unfortunately. So you can see the difficulty ramping up from sector 1 to sector 2. It's just an insane spike, so you really have to be prepared for anything happening there. Now finishing sector 2 and entering sector 3, it's mostly made out of 2 straights and 2 corners. He takes the first one very nicely, and then the final corner, or the final 2 corners actually, but the final corner is not really a corner. You wanna go in 5th gear, and then just go full throttle right at the end. But Milan Dirksen, like we said before, hasn't validated his lap, so he's gonna go into the pit lane. But Maurer is gonna follow him right behind with a 1:28.2 as a provisional pole lap time, and Owen hasn't beaten that yet.
So the moment of truth is I see only Jakob Mikkelsen, trying to become Tony Ritchie. Well, 1 championship point versus 74 championship points is kind of a big gap, so a couple of wins before him. But all in all, he's already getting 2 penalty points for failure to put a proper number, which is, as far as I'm aware, 21.
Yes.
Yeah.
As we see Corton getting the provisional pole of a 1:27.8. If anyone watched the PC2 race yesterday, the pole lap time was a 1:27.9. So looks like the PC2 grid isn't really too far off of the PC1 grid as well.
Yep, that's right. Meanwhile, looking for drivers who are on a lap. And one of these must be Arjan Bilbas. Tony Ritchie is just about to end his lap, and he's putting himself in the second place, 27.981.
A very good lap time indeed, but still 1/10 off of his teammate. There is still 13 minutes left until the end of the session, so track evolution is very high here in Bahrain. So that is gonna prove right at the end of the session. As like you said, let's see who is on a lap. Let's see, we have I think one of the McLarens on the lap with Wojciech Crocs just finishing out his lap right now. Opening DRS, and it's gonna be a 1:29.7. Currently the last of the runners who finished their laps, so there is definitely some time for improvement for the McLaren driver.
Next up, we're having Arjan Bilbas, who's currently in turn 10, the most difficult corner of the entire track and one of the most difficult corners in the entire F1 calendar, which is proved by plenty of lockups, being stuck on a curb, or whatever that happens to a driver. Like Bilbas with a minor mistake, but we'll see if he can get a decent sector 2 lap time. It's 6.5 plus invalidated lap.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate for Bilbas, but we saw in previous races as well, his luck hasn't gone his way so far, getting caught in a bunch of incidents, so let's just hope that his luck is going to turn around for the Bahrain Grand Prix. But his teammate currently in P8, one of the reserves of Patrick Mesijak, I think his name is, currently running in P8, so not a bad showing for his first time here in PC1.
Not actually first, second.
Second time, yeah. He was in Australia, but I wasn't in Australia.
He finished 9th with a damaged front wing because of the collisions between the Ferraris. Speaking of which, if you're wondering why there is no Marvin Moore on the grid today, even though he could have raced, he's got to race one for accumulation of 30 seconds of time penalties. So that's harsh.
Indeed. As we see both of the Aston Martins actually starting their laps, Bodian leading that Aston Martin train as a AlphaTauri just heads out on track. He is going to be in the middle of the Aston Martin sandwich, but let's just keep on board with Bodian as he literally hugs the entire inside curb and hasn't invalidated somehow, but that is going to lose him a bunch of time entering sector 2. But still, he had a purple sector 1. How did he do that?
I think this is the game's glitch that everyone has a purple sector. If I'm completely honest.
Maybe that like shows when they're on their first laps, then it's like purple sector for their lap times and not for like the entire session. Never mind, we're going into turn 11. He goes to 4th gear. Most people like to use 5th because it's more stable, and if you touch the inside curb with 4th and even 5th, it is just gonna unsettle your car, so you really want to be careful there. Not really in qualifying, but mainly in the race, because that can ruin everything and your chances for points. But Bodian is having a really scrappy run, in my opinion. He's not really having the best optimal lines, and that proves it because he is currently last of the finishing runners.
Darkson isn't doing any better, actually better than his teammate for today's race, but not better in general. Ducras got his lap invalidated, Oginski's invalidated, Kielar is on a lap. Robertson is in the pits, Dugail is on the lap, and Bilbas is on the out lap.
Also, Linus is saying that the whole of Portimao is more difficult than turn 10, and honestly, I'm gonna have to agree. Maybe not the entirety of Portimao, but like the uphill section in Sector 2, like that is an insanely difficult corner for myself. But as you did say, Keeler is on a lap currently for McLaren, but I think he actually backed out of it because he is not using any of his ERS as his light is flashing, so he's just probably on a cooldown lap and he is gonna go again, maybe even get some slipstream from his teammate right ahead, who is on a lap as well, Wojciech Crocs, but he also didn't improve. A 2-minute lap time, that is pretty slow. So he is gonna go again. So let's see what both of the McLarens can do.
Meanwhile, Curtin is improving by nearly 0.2 of a second into Sector 2, so this might be a new lap record for today's qualifying session and puts him, and still further put him on provisional pole. Let's see, because Erwin is now heading out of the final corner, no spin unlike Cohenhainen in social race in Abu Dhabi, crosses the line, and that's 27.6.
Where can you even find that much time to do a 27.6? I am shocked and impressed.
Just be on top of the time trial leaderboard.
That is insane.
Meanwhile,
but he does extend his lead on pole, so let's see if anyone will be able to beat that.
okay.
As I think we also see Borlini on a lap. His teammate is also behind with Ferdi Hajrusi, but I don't think he's doing a lap, as he already set one. Puts himself into P3 with a 128.0, 1/10 behind of Tony Rich, but that is still a pretty good lap time from the Alpine.
If you're wondering why is there two Tony Riches in a Mercedes, it's all because Jakob Mikkelsen failed to put his number, for anyone that's new to the stream.
Well, I mean, double trouble for everyone then, because of two Tonys.
Tony's has to catch up so much in the championship that he has to use two accounts in order to get more points.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Arjan goes first.
As we see Bill pass. Yes, he does. That is a very good lap time. Also, Borlini has invalidated, but he was improved by 0.3, so would have put him in P2 or probably only P3. So that is very unfortunate.
In the meantime, Oginski's put himself on the 8th place, now 9th, because Luke Mills has gone 6th fastest. There's an Alfa Romeo on the track, but that's Patrick Odugal with no fuel at all. Looking further, Tom Mauer is having a cooldown lap, I assume, or an in lap. So maybe let's move into Robertson, who's in the pits. So that's the other half of Oginski. Keller on the out lap. Crocs is on the in lap on the other side. Maybe one of the Alfa Martins? No, because, well, we're having probably a cooler period of the qualifying. Yep.
I think the next guy to actually start the lap is gonna be Tony Rich, as he... No, he's actually... It said he was on an out lap, now he's on a lap. That's interesting. Maybe another bug that Codemasters is not gonna fix.
We've got...
Oh no, he's actually going for it now.
Richie?
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, he's about to start his lap, because he's actually starting his lap, because you can see his ERS levels, and that explains a lot.
I mean, we saw in Miami that there is a glitch of saving ERS. If you just switch to neutral and first gear instantly for around 10 seconds, you're gonna recharge all of your ERS in a matter of seconds. So that is a thing that exists, if anyone wants to use it in qualifying.
Legal, by the way. Yellow flags in sector 2. That is one of the Aston Martins. Probably, yeah, that's Bodian, who spun around, just letting Tony Ricci past. Who is currently 2/10 up.
Nice line.
You can see he's actually using the esports line. He's literally on a curb. That's the esports line there was so much talking about. We could see Tony Ricci on the exit of turn 10 completely using the curb, nearly invalidating his lap. Now he's 4/10 up on his lap time. Can he take the pole position from his teammate and championship rival as well? Tony Ricci, well, with these esports lines he's using, he might be going for pole position because he's literally keeping every single bit of the lap on edge. Not quite, because he had to go out of the track in order to save the car, and that compromises his lap time. But it was around half a second up, which would put him on pole position. Now he has to hurry up, put the new soft tires on, especially at the trouble of Irvin Kurtzen going out of the pits. Well, he is in a hurry if he wants to get the pole position. You know, the second Tony Ricci, actually Jakob Mikkelsen, is putting 4th place in qualifying.
That is very unfortunate for Tony, but we are seeing a lot of drivers heading out for their final runs. So we are gonna have a pretty punched track in just a few moments. But as we have 3 minutes left until the end of the session, this is now gonna be the time for everyone to improve, because it's now or never. The track evolution is at its peak, and you are just gonna gain a lot of time, not lose, only if you make mistakes. But let's see, we have the first guy to finish a lap. It's gonna be Keeler, but looks like he made a mistake somewhere, so he's probably gonna go into the pit lane. But unfortunately for him, there is not gonna be enough time for his pit crew to serve him. So I don't think we're gonna see him improve anytime soon, as Patrick is the next to do a lap, so we can probably just go on board with him, and then when everyone else is also gonna start, we can check them out. But Patrick just finishing out sector 1. Let's see if he has improved by anything. Oh no, actually he hasn't even set a lap time yet, so this is gonna be his first lap, so he is gonna hope for everything as he makes a major lockup going into turn 7, which is gonna lose him around 1 or 2 tenths going into turns 9 and 10. Oh, also a bit of a lockup, but not as major as previously. But this is a very scrappy run. I don't think he's even gonna be in the top 10, unfortunately. As he goes into turn 11, that was taken pretty well. Goes as wide as possible to set up for the next corner, turn 12, a 106.5. We saw Bill Bass before he invalidated doing a 106.5, so 3/10 off of that lap time. So maybe it is gonna be in the 128s, but it's all gonna be in the last corner. But he takes it very nicely, actually. Puts the throttle on as early as he possibly can, opens the DRS for the final straight, and it is a 128.6, so only just in the top 10. So right in the middle of the pack, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because it's gonna be pretty difficult to avoid any incidents going into turn 1, but also he is pretty close to everyone in front, so it's all gonna depend on what tires he's gonna choose for the race.
Yep, that's right. Bodian now is probably starting his lap. Killer has tied in the pits. Also, if you can enlighten me a little bit, why is Robertson not setting a lap? He's never gone out of the pit.
I don't know.
Probably a qualifying ban. Oh! What was that collision between Burlini and Maciejczak? We've just seen that, and what happened there?
That might be desync, because that didn't look like... That's very interesting, honestly. I don't know what to think of that. But anyways, the checkered flag has been waved. Qualifying is over. Pavlakovic has been disqualified for going the wrong way. So he is gonna start last, as Patrick also retires on track. Oginski retires on track. This is very interesting how this has ended. Mikkelsen crosses the finish line. I think he does improve to P5. But he still has Bilbas, Ducros, and Mills behind him on a lap. So let's see if they're gonna be able to improve. As Tony Rich is also on a lap, with his teammate also right behind him. Or actually, he is not on lap. He has backed out of it, so he hasn't improved. So it's all gonna be on Tony, but he's also not improving. So Corton has taken another pole position in this season.
So, I don't know, there's plenty of drama in the qualifying, but it doesn't look like this by the reactions of the chat of our tier. Time is up in the qualifying. Tony Richa goes to the pits. Irvin Curtin, despite having no fuel, probably gets the pole position. How about Luke Mills? He spun around. We see plenty more drama in the qualifying. We've got like 7 people retired from the session.
We have around the whole 3 sectors have yellow flags. This has been a dramatic final few moments of the qualifying session, but thankfully it is over, so we can at least just head to the race and not really think about it too much.
Just in case I haven't finished modding the entire track, and there is not every single sponsor, not every banner being filled with Ero stuff. So, sorry for that.
So, as qualifying session is over, Irvin Corton has taken another pole position, and he is gonna start first with Tom Maurer starting right behind him, and they round out the first row of the grid with Tony and Bill Bass in the second row, Hatchrosi and Ben Mickelson in the third row, Ducros and I missed it now. I think it's Mills. Mills in the fourth row, and we're gonna see everyone else in just a moment.
Yep, Porlini gets a
As
5
it
pace
loads.
grid penalty. At least his teammate gets a decent qualifying 5th.
At least, you are correct. But as of now, Borlini is in the 9th position with Owen in 10th, so they are in 5th row. And everyone below the top 10 are Patrick Dougal, Aginski, Crocs, Masijak, Keeler, Harvey, Dirksen, Bodian Robertson, and unfortunately for Pavlakovic, he was pretty high up the grid, but he has been disqualified for going the wrong way. I think it was around turn 4. So that is very unfortunate for the Williams driver, but at least a positive side, he can just go slowly in turn 1 and avoid any incidents. So he can just maybe improve already 5 or 6 places off of that alone. But speaking of tires, Voy, what do you think the best strategy for this track
Medium
is?
hard, as always.
Good, good. Well, honestly, in my opinion, I think it's medium or hard to medium. But yesterday we saw that the hards wear out insanely quickly, and the pace difference between the mediums and the hards is pretty huge. So honestly, I may agree with you, but also I don't really have the experience and knowledge to say that. As we are just waiting for everyone to choose their strategy and choose how much fuel they want to use, and we are gonna go on to the... Wait, is the formation lap turned on or turned off?
Should be on.
Then we're gonna go to the formation lap.
Yep.
It is taking a little bit, but honestly, it is giving people that cannot join instantly in the session to have just enough time to do their things, like me. My game loads like insanely slowly, so this would have been good yesterday. But this is nice to see that
Someone
we
just
are
probably
waiting
forgot to set
just
up.
a little bit or maybe that. I don't know.
Yep. As we're about to start the Bahrain Gp, the round 5 of the season, it is going to be a formation lap. So we've got Evan Curtin leading the way. Okay.
He's on softs.
He's on soft?
Why is he on softs? He's really counting for a safety car then.
He must be, because everyone else, like most of the drivers, not everyone else, but most of the drivers are on hards. or mediums. Also, these are the proper driver standings. Just I don't know why there is no Red Bull logo displaying, but the first two drivers are in the Red Bull indeed. We've got Evan Curtin leading the way by 15 points ahead of Tony Richard, and we've got 39 points of Tom Maurer, two drivers with 37 points, Paolo Kovic and Bilbas, 32 points for Luke Mills, 22 for Śmigowski, 19 for Foss, and 13 for Crocs and Berlini. Crocs and Śmigowski are not racing, so I assume Crocs and not Crocs, Śmigowski and Foss are not racing. Also, no data because I haven't put any data into this. Just taking care of the Drivers' Championship. So congratulations, the game. By the way, indeed, Evan Curtin starts on the soft tires, gambling on an early safety car, but we've got more of the late safety cars in the season.
I mean, like I said before, I don't think softs are a good choice for Corton because I said that the hards wear out insanely quickly, and that still stands true. Around 14 laps in, the hards are already going to be at 40 or 50% worn. So if he does count for a safety car and goes for an early stop on the hards and tries to go to the end of the race, he is going to be in the puncture zone. So it is a very risky strategy that he's choosing. But he doesn't really have too much to lose as well, because he is still leading in the championship. But it is interesting nonetheless.
Top 3 is definitely having very cold tires at the start, because you can see the drivers are just about joining the grid. Luke will probably spinning somewhere around, trying to go into the middle of the track as we're about to start the Bahrain Grand Prix. The Evan Curtin versus Tony Richard Championship battle is on, and we'll see who's going to be a winner in round 5, as it's about to be lights out and away we go. It is going to be lights out and away we go. It's lights out and away we go for the third time. I'm saying this as we're going. We're underway for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and looks like Evan Curtin keeps the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix very peacefully. If we would get a better camera shot, that would have been amazing. But Evan leads the way ahead of Arian Bilbas, Tom Richa, and Tom Maurer, who are fighting for the 3rd place. Side by side nearly, not there side by side quite yet. Mikkelsen is right behind him, waiting for moves around the track. There's a bit of a battle on the midfield as well between the Alpine I've seen going down the inside. Harris is currently on the 7th. Both McLarens have dropped to the last place. Tony Richard has to defend from Tom Maurer. Arian Bilbas with a perfect start. Now he has to chase Evan Curtin.
But another driver with a perfect start is Luke Mills, goes to P5 for the AlphaTauri driver. He is ahead of Mikkelsen currently on the medium, so he is going to be a little bit under pressure from the Mercedes, as he is in the Mercedes sandwich. But he is also very close to Maurer. He's trying to heat up the tires. You see him weaving as well as Maurer right in front of him. So the hard's taking a long time to heat up, and that is giving Urban a very good opportunity to just pull away, as he is already 2.3 seconds ahead of Bilbas. And like you said, Bilbas had an incredible start right there at the beginning and already puts himself into P2. But unfortunate for the McLarens, both of them are currently in 18th and 19th, both involved in incidents. So let's see if they can improve. Asuki lets him by, which is very interesting. I don't know what happened there. But no incidents so far, so that is nice to see.
Yep, there's Lucas Dirks on the last place, already going to the pits. 5-second time for spinning in the pit lane. I imagine he's changing his front wing right now. Let's see, because there's no action at the moment at the top. He's changing a wing and goes to medium tires.
But we see a lot of action in the midfield, with people nearly going 3 wide, with Owen Heinen and Patrick Dougal going side by side into turn 4, and Robertson is trying to get close to this battle as himself and Patrick make little contact. Thankfully, none of them spin off of that, as they still go side by side the entire sector 2, as Patrick does an incredible dive bomb here and makes that move stick. Now Berlini is trying to get into this fight, losing a lot of positions at the start. So he wants to improve here. Or actually, I think he actually started below the top 10. Let me check. Yeah, so he improves one position, but unfortunately cannot do anything here. He's just gonna have to stay behind and be patient.
As we've seen Kul Pavlakovic losing a couple of places. I missed that bit due to correcting some sound issues, but here we are with Kul Pavlakovic again on P19 and having chased the rest of the grid. As we've got Tony Riche on the back of Arian Bilbas, who is on the hard tires as well. He's got a pretty good start. Irvin Curtin just pulls away by another second. It's already 6 seconds on a single on 2 laps.
That is insane. As we have a battle with Mickelson and Luke Mills, Mickelson has finally overtaken the AlphaTauri, and he won't be affected by any more dirty air on those mediums, which he needs to now get close to his teammate, as the DRS has been enabled this lap, and Oginski and Ducros already using it to its fullest, as they nearly go side by side going into turn 4. But Oginski stays just ahead going into it.
The gap between Curtin and Bilbas starts to drop. It's already 4.7 seconds. We've seen the gap of 6 seconds before. Lucas Derksen retiring from the race. No more points for Aston Martin, at least from this one side of the garage. Lucas Derksen, who scored a point in Australia, now he's retired very early into the race. As we've seen Williams going wide on the minimap, and that's Alfie Harvey, who was letting past everyone, and now he is on the last place.
As Ducros has overtaken Oginski right before turn 11, looks like those mediums for the Haas driver aren't working as well as he would have thought or would have hoped. And he is also gonna be under pressure with Owen, as Owen is gonna be right in the DRS range. So he can also just try and claw back the positions that he has lost, as he is still in the points. He is in the top 10.
Meanwhile, Tony Riche,
But I think we are just
look,
a huge train.
look at Riche, because he's getting closer and closer to Arian Bilbas. And his interest is to overtake Arian as soon as possible, because this is where the championship fight is on. He needs to overtake him and then hope for Irvin's early or maybe even two-stop strategy, which may damage Irvin's chances to win today. Even though he has that big gap, Borlini spun round.
And that's a safety car.
So
It wasn't even a retirement, and it brought a safety car.
Irvin just being lucky.
Yeah, or maybe Borlini is a secret agent for Red Bull, just causing a safety car on demand. Because now Corton can go into the pit lane, pit for hards, go to the end, and he is a pit stop free.
Yep.
But like I said, the hards wear out insanely quickly, so he's gonna be in a little bit of a trouble at the end in the puncture zone. But I think he can manage that. But we'll have to wait and see.
So we've got an early safety car on lap 4 without anyone retiring and triggering it. So it's probably a spin of Paolo Borlini. Let me see. Yes, he's got no front wing, so maybe that's the reason. The debris around the track have caused Bernd Melander to go on the track. Meanwhile, Irvin Curtin, being the luckiest man in the entire world at the moment, can go to the pits and can change tires to whatever he wants.
This is starting to remind me of Tuka's dominance last season in PC1.
Also, he
And yes, he
he almost crossed the white line on the pit entry, but it did not happen, as Irvin is now just getting out of the pits with some teleportation skills from his side as well.
Ooh, Patrick also goes into the pit lane with Hooky, so 2 medium runners, maybe just trying to get rid of these, as Borlini follows them, and Keeler as well. All of these drivers go for fresh hards, except for Keeler. He is putting on softs as well as Borlini, so they are probably just hoping to gain as many positions at the safety car restart, hoping for better temperatures. And then pit once more for the hards, probably to the end of the race. Because they're not gonna have any fresh mediums to put on. But the problem now for Corton is that he has a lot of ground to get up against, but he also has to avoid any incidents if there are gonna be any in front of him. And if he doesn't do that, his race is gonna be ruined. And that safety car was for nothing. As we see, I think Bill Bass,
Did he spin?
some people in front. He didn't spin, but or maybe he did. I don't know. I didn't see.
What just happened around here? Why is Arian Bilbas losing 3 places at once after leading under the safety car? Maybe he's the Red Bull agent.
Maybe both of them are. I don't know. Or maybe he just alt tabbed, because if you alt tab, the car glitches and you go behind a few seconds. So maybe he did that and it just glitched him. I don't know. Don't do that, people. If you wanna check Discord or something, just do it on your phone. Don't alt tab, because we're gonna have to do a lobby restart.
Yep. And that would cause a lot of trouble.
Yes. But the safety car is gonna go for one more lap, even though the pack has been bunched up. As we see another spinner of Hajrusi. What are they doing? Oh, people got an illegal overtake now for Hajrusi, even though he was stopped dead on track. This game is amazing. I love it. Suki goes into the pit lane yet again. Let's see what he's gonna choose. His old mediums. Oh, he had front wing damage. Okay, that is.
Also, not sure why Keller and Bruni have decided to go on soft tires.
Honestly, no idea as well. But if they even wanted to go for hards, like I said, it is a very risky strategy. It is gonna be in the puncture zone, but I don't know. Maybe they're just counting because everyone still has to go into the pit lane. They are also gonna have to go into the pit lane. And now that they are on softs, maybe they can improve many positions before the pit stop ranges. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see.
As I believe we might be having a safety car in this lap. Also, very nice Aston Martin safety car when I see a Mercedes clearly ahead of me. Yep, I'm absolutely right about that.
Yes. As we are waiting for the safety car to come in, we are currently on lap 6. It is gonna restart at lap 7. Tony Rich is gonna lead the safety car restart with Maurer right behind, and Mikkelsen also on the podium. He is on medium, so he is gonna have the tire advantage in the restart. So presumably, if everything goes his way, he can maybe even overtake into turn 1, as here we have the indication for the safety car. So let's see what's gonna happen. The hards are definitely gonna be hard to heat up, so I think that Tony and Maurer are gonna be under pressure by Mikkelsen, but let's just wait and see what is gonna happen.
Yep, as Tony Richa is warming his tires on the all width of the track he can use. As he is about to restart this Grand Prix, the safety car has not come in yet, so he cannot go ahead as soon as he wants. Now he can go because Bernd Mirander is in the pits. He's still warming up his tires. He still hasn't accelerated fully. Now he is. And Tom Maurer looks like he's going to fight will to will with him because he's got a battle launch. There's a free white right behind him and another free white again behind the free white we're having right now. As Luke Mills goes down the inside of a couple of drivers, he may take the 3rd place, but it looks like he spins round and that's the end of the dreams for him of getting ahead of everyone else, as we've also seen the Haas having a front wing broken.
That is very unfortunate for Luke Mills, as he had a very nice restart there, but we still have this battle for the lead with Tony Rich and Maurer. Bill Bass is also trying to get close to this battle, as Tony nearly spins as he makes a mistake going into turn 8, but thankfully still manages to keep P1. But he is still going to be under pressure by Maurer. DRS is going to be enabled in 3 laps time, so I think just saving DRS in these early stages is going to be the strategy for everyone, as we also see behind people just switching positions, and the soft runners have improved a lot, as I think we're going to have nearly 3 wide going into turn 11, but people have backed out of it thankfully with Hajrusi already in P7, and Borlini going from like P18 to P11, so the soft's really working well. on this restart. So looks like this actually might have been the best strategy, as he's now gonna overtake Robertson as well to go into the points. So this really went his way, as well as Pavlakovic. He was lost before the restart. Now he's already in P8. As we see Mikkelsen going into the pit lane, so he was probably the one who made contact with Luke Mills in turn 2.
Yeah.
So he has to change the wing.
That's what I wanted to say, apparently, as Tonwich peacefully leads the way. Behind him, Tom Maurer and Arjan Bilbas keeping up. Yanni Ducro is around 2 seconds behind, as we've got 4 different drivers in the pits already.
That is very unfortunate, and only one of them was a front runner with Mikkelsen. But let's see here, Tony is still remaining in the lead. Corton has already got himself up to P3. P7. Already going under attack for Fajrusi, trying to go around the outside into turn 8, but turn 7, but that is not really gonna work. There is not really a space to go there, as Fajrusi hugs the curb on the outside line of turn 9 and turn 10, and that was a very easy overtake for Corton. He goes up to P6 already.
Yup, as Owen Heinen is currently on the 5th place. What a great performance from this driver. We've got also an Aston Martin spinning on the back straight. That's Darius Bodean, losing already a couple of places. We've also seen an Alfa Romeo of Patrick Odegaard spinning as well. So we've got plenty of spins at the moment. It doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon with the amount of spins we're having right now. The RS is enabled, so you might see a little bit of action right now. We've got 4 drivers separated by around a second each. Then we've got a massive chase starting from Owen, going all the way down to Maciejczak, and Ogiński probably has no wing damage as he's still going on this train, despite the spin.
And Tony has already gotten himself out of the DRS range of Maurer. He's already a second and 2/10. So he is definitely not going to be under pressure, as Berlini has overtaken his teammate Hajrusi, but I think he just let him through there, not really battling for that position. And that is honestly a good thing, because he is on the softs and Hajrusi on the hards. But he is doing a lot here. Is Paolo on those softs. It is very impressive to watch, honestly.
At least he can get up by a couple of places, and when he goes into the pass, he's going to be around 15th place at worst, and still be in contention for the point. The later stages of the race, Alfie Harvey, he will stay with having only 1 point in the championship for fastest lap in Austria, as he retires in the session.
Let's go to the front a little bit. Bilbas he is in the DRS range of Maurer. Right in front of him also has more DRS than the Mercedes, so maybe we're gonna see a move happening in the second straight. I don't think we're gonna see it here, but just getting close is gonna be enough for the Ferrari. But he's not also gaining a lot with the DRS.
Meanwhile, Curtin is making a move on his junior team driver as he goes down the inside on Owen Heinen and takes position number 5 already.
And we know Owen, he didn't back out of that. He was trying to overtake that position back, but there was no way with Cortens's fresh tires, and now he is going to be under pressure by Berlini behind as well, who is on the softs. Let's see if he's going to be able to make a mistake, as Heinen nearly spins going into turn 6, but still manages to... Sorry.
Yep, that's the big of
Still manages to see. Yes.
As we've got Berlini using DRS on Owen, but also Owen also uses DRS, also has got more ERS, so Berlini has to plan it carefully if he wants to overtake Owen, who has to be out of the DRS for making this overtake a little bit easier, and I believe Owen is out of the DRS.
Yes, he is already out of the DRS, so I think this is gonna be an easy overtake for Borlini, and he doesn't even want to lose too much time now to Corton, because those softs are still at their optimal range. They are gonna start to drop off in around 1 or 2 laps, so it's gonna be now or never. And like you said, After he pits, he is gonna be around in P15, but still everyone in front of him is also gonna have to pit. As we see Owen defending very aggressively going into turn 1 and trying to do a switchback now going into turn 2, but he cannot compete with the traction of the soft tires, so he is gonna have to back out of it.
So that is the end of
As
dreams
yet-
for Owen Heinen to defend his 6th position. Now he's going to stay in 7th and will be in danger of Ferdi Kairusi, who's got a very big work to do as a teammate if he wants Berlin to at least get into points today. We can see he's already getting a bit close on Owen. It's a gap of around
we also
2 seconds.
had the wide in. Sorry, continue.
It's a gap of around 2 seconds right now. A second maybe. It's over a second because Ferdi has got no DRS. Watching meanwhile Philly Kielar, who's behind Luke Mills. He's on the 10th place, also on the soft tires. He's a couple of positions behind. But it doesn't mean he's in the points on the soft tires. He will still have to pit though. Same as Berlini. Same as most of the drivers right now. Maybe even every driver.
Saying that, we are on lap 12 out of 29. The pit stop window should be open either now or next lap for the medium runners. So probably Hukioginski, Bodian and Crocs if they do choose to do so. I think Crocs maybe not because he does have the lap hold mediums. So he can maybe stay a little bit longer, maybe choose softs at the end, but it is open as Aginski does go into the pit lane. He is gonna choose the hard compound tire and he is gonna go to the end of the race.
Right now we've got Ariel Bulbas very close to Tom Myrer, you can see, and is about to attack for the 2nd place in this race. Well, the top 3, all of them has to go to the pits. They have to go to the pits and change for the medium or soft tire. They're not going to survive 29 laps on the same compound, especially with the rule that makes it mandatory to pit at least once for a different tire compound.
As Corton has already gotten himself into P5, so when everyone pits, he is already gonna have like a 20-second gap. And I don't think anyone's gonna be able to challenge that. And he's also gaining a little bit of ground to Ducros right in front of him with 4-lap pressure hards. So I think he is gonna get into the DRS range in around 1 or 2 laps.
Wait a second, we've got Hirusi spinning round, calling out another safety car. What happened there?
I don't know, kind of reminds me of, I think it was Fittipaldi's crash in 2020 when he drove for Haas.
That was Aitken.
He just crashed in. Aitken, yeah, Aitken.
We've got 2nd safety
Very
car,
interesting.
essentially saving Burlini, saving hard runners, saving Kielar who's just in the pits, possibly without losing any places.
I mean, saving everyone who hasn't stopped yet with Rich, Maurer, Bilbas, Ducros, Owen, Mills, Pavlakovic. Everyone who hasn't stopped yet can now go to mediums and go to the end. And Berlini as well, like you said, he was on the softs. Maybe he was like predicting that there would be another safety car because this has seriously worked in his favor. That is very interesting.
Yup.
Or maybe, wait. Had Shrusi crashed, he's in the Alpine. His teammate Borlini is also in the Alpine, and he's on softs. Team plays, maybe? Maybe scripted?
Maybe.
Crashgate? 28? Or, yeah,
2008 it was.
2008? Yeah. This is interesting. But yeah, we are seeing a lot of people going to the pit lane. Like I said, everyone is going in, even Corton. I think just switching to mediums is gonna be the best choice here. Owen also. We are gonna have a double stack for AlphaTauri. Let's see if they manage to do it correctly. so they don't lose any time. Pavlakovic also goes into the pit lane. And yeah, Luke Mills is losing a bunch of time to Owen. He might even lose a position to Pavlakovic. Oh no, Pavlakovic is changing the front wing, so that's not gonna be an option. But some people stay out with Keeler, who is on fresh hearts. He stays out. Padraig, I don't know why he stays out. I think putting maybe mediums on would have been better, even though they were 5 laps old. But he has stayed out. And some of the other runners who pitted before the safety car, they also have stayed out. With Crocs, Mikkelsen, Hookie, that's Masijak, and Duginski.
There is no soft runner on the track right now. We've got a couple of hard runners. Majority of the drivers are on mediums right now. We've got no time penalties, excluding one for Harvey, but it doesn't count as he's already DNF'd. We are halfway through the Bahrain Grand Prix already. And I assume the safety car will be in next lap.
And one more thing to note, no penalties yet, which is honestly incredibly surprising for me. I would at least think that 1 or 2 people would have penalties, but we are currently having a clean slate here.
So,
But this, yeah.
as it stands, Tony Richard takes the championship lead. Because we've got 94 versus 79, plus 25 for Tony, makes it 104, plus 7 for Curtin, makes it 101.
And they still lead by around 100 plus points in the constructors, which is insane. They are probably gonna just round out the constructors like round 10, because there's not gonna be anyone to actually compete against that, against the Red Bulls. But yeah, like you said, we are on lap 15. We are at the halfway point of the Grand Prix. A lot of people have went into the pit lane because of the safety car to put on fresh medium tires, so they can definitely go to the end of the race. Some people have stayed out, the people who went to the pit lane before. But we also have Padraig, a exception, who is on 10 lap all hearts. He will definitely have to go into the pit lane once again, but he is probably gonna go for softs, maybe try to go for the fastest lap and then go to the end. But he is gonna lose a lot of positions because of that. We also have Keeler on the hards, Masijak on the hards, Duginski on the hards, Mikkelsen also will probably have to go into the pit lane on the hards, Bodian on the hards, and that is everyone, yeah. So it is gonna be interesting to see if Corton will be able to gain any positions. Now we saw he was doing that very easily on the hards, even on the medium runners. So let's see now that everyone has the same. Let's see how quickly he can get across the field and get himself onto the podium places once again.
That's right, as I believe we're having a safety car in this lap. Everyone is on the queue already. Fraser Roberts on the fastest lap of this race at the moment. Yup, the safety car is indeed coming in this lap. As we're about to have a green flag. Yes, we already have a green flag, but we have to wait for Bert Milander to go to the pits. There's this one long straight where we have to wait for the safety car driver to come in, and we'll see if Tony Richard can keep the lead after turn 1. Most of the drivers behind him, apart from Patrick of course, are on the medium tires, which means attack mode. For the last 14 laps of this Grand Prix, Tony Richard has not started just yet. He's using the similar tactic that he used in previous restart, not anymore, as we're already going. It's a green flag already. Arjen Bubas is very close on Tony Richard. Can he take the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix? We can see him going around the outside of the Red Bull driver, and he's will to will into turns 1 and 2. Can he take the lead of this Bahrain Grand Prix? Yes, he can! He's gone for the lead of this race. But Tony Ritchie is going to fight back. He's now side by side with the Red Bull yet again. What a battle between these two drivers. Now Arjan Bilbao on the inside line. And can he keep the lead? They are still will to will in this battle. No, Tony has to back out of it. What a move from Arjan Bilbao to become the new leader of the Bahrain Grand Prix.
And there we go, we are starting to get penalties as Corton has overtaken Patrick Dougal, going into turn 7, so that is one position. Patrick has lost a lot of time here on those hards. He's already getting under pressure by Berlini, but right behind him, as well as Owen. But you are correct, that is very impressive by Bilbao. Kind of reminds me of Leclerc's and Verstappen's battle in real life here as well in Bahrain, which was very nice to see. And both of them are in the Ferrari and the Red Bull, as Maya Mickelson is another one to get a penalty. So I might have just jinxed everyone during the safety car. But Bilbao is showing the pace on those mediums. His gap is already to 7/10. He's also not even using too much of his ERS, so this is only by pure pace. As we also have people behind, Patrick again with Berlini. I think they are gonna go side by side going into turn 1. Berlini using all of the battery that he has. And I think Patrick just has to back out of that. And Berlini goes into P6.
Only Red Bull drivers have won the races this season. Now with 13 laps to go, or actually 12 laps into 2 sectors because we're just reaching sector 2, Arjan Bilbao is leading the way. Now has to get out of the DRS of Tony Ritchie in order to be actually safe about winning this Grand Prix. Tony is around half a second behind Arjan, he's very close, so I might expect a move back into the lead from the Red Bull driver pretty soon. But for now, Arjan Bilbao is in contention for the victory today and get a redemption after unlucky race in Australia where he crashed with PCF2 driver Marvin Moore, who was also his teammate, and the other PCF2 driver Patrick Maciejczak, but it wasn't the Williams driver's fault back then.
I mean, we cannot count out as well Maurer, Ducros and Corton. They are still in the DRS range, and this is starting to be a little bit of a DRS train with the DRS being enabled this lap after they cross the finish line. So we cannot count any of these 5 drivers to actually maybe do something to take the win, or at least a podium. So we just have to wait and see what is gonna happen here.
Arjan Bilbao, well, crosses the line. And we've got DRS enabled in lap 18 of this race. We've got final 12 laps here as we've got the top 5 drivers all in contention for the victory, as Dino has said. Patrick Odegaard loses another place, this time to Owen Heinen.
Yeah, I think he made a bit of a mistake by not pitting under the safety car, as Corton has overtaken Ducros for P4. We also have a yellow flag by Bodian in turn 4. He probably spun by himself on the curb, but Corton is very close to getting himself back onto the podium when starting on pole position, starting on softs, pitting during the safety car, and just getting pretty unlucky because of the second safety car, but clawing himself back to extend his lead, or at least keep it still in his hands to still lead, as Bilbao is still leading the race. Let's see if he's gonna be able to keep that during this next start-finish straight with DRS being enabled, as Maurer also 5/10 to Tony. It is gonna be very interesting to see.
Yep, as Tony Ritchie is now having DRS on Arjan Bilbao. Is he thinking of taking the lead back of the Bahrain Grand Prix? He's pretty far as of now, but it's not the end. Dervin Curtin makes the fastest lap of the race, but he's pretty far from Tom Maurer. Tony Ritchie stays behind Arjan, the Dutchman, still leading the Grand Prix, still on the lead, still having those 25 points. Maybe bringing himself into the championship fight, but Tony Ritchie is now pretty much closer to the Ferrari driver, not enough to think of a move at any point.
I think now Tony's best strategy, if he thinks that he's not losing too much time in the dirty year of Bilbao, maybe stay behind him, save ERS, and then when he has like a full set of battery, now he has 80, when he has a full battery, then start to attack. And if he thinks he is losing time, then overtake him as soon as possible.
I'm sorry to say, your predictions
because
might be
you're
wrong.
gonna-
He's literally very close to Aryan Bilbas, right? Not enough. So fair enough. I'm backing out of my words. I thought he's about to make a move, maybe on the main straight. But by the way, we can see such a huge gap forming between top 6 and the rest of the field.
And we have like two huge DRS trains. We have one from P1 to P6 with Borlini getting close, and then one from Owen all the way down to Oginski. So this is seriously like esports level things here happening on the Bahrain turf. As Bilbas, oh, that is crossing the white line.
No, it isn't, because he was not going to the pit. He was just weaving about a bit, just in order not to make Tonym go for a move on any of the directions. So he stays in the second. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. That is Antonio Oginski probably going to the pits. It is Antonio Oginski going to the pits. And retiring from the session as well, as Tony stays on the second place.
Maurer has also gotten himself into 2 10s as well as Corton, and everyone here is within a second. All of these 4 drivers, as Corton nearly makes contact with Maurer going into turn 7, but thankfully avoids the Mercedes. But that is gonna lose him a little bit of time. As let's see here if anyone's gonna be maybe trying to make a move, as Mikkelsen has crashed or spun
He's just
actually
spun.
after turn 6. Yeah, spun in turn 6. But this is very close, indeed.
So right now, top 5 being very close to each other. Brolini trying to catch behind them, but he's around 1.5 seconds behind. Evan Curtin doing a pretty good solid pace right now, but he's got a little bit of ERS. Tomer has a bit more, around 6%. Tony Richard has the most out of this top 4 pack. Let's maybe count Yanni Durko, who's got no ERS at all. But maybe the time for Tony Richard to go for a move around the outside or down the inside. Currently around the outside, now down the inside of Aryan Bilbas. He is going for a move down the inside now. He's using all of his ERS. He's going for an overtake into turn 1. Aryan Bilbas has to leave enough amount of space. He's trying to be side by side with Tony on the next zone, but Tony will have DRS. And this means he's now the leader of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Aryan Bilbas is trying to fight back, but it looks like DRS advantage is enough for the Frenchman to keep the lead.
That is very nice indeed. As we steer away a little bit of the this battle for the lead, as we have Padraig, Masijak, Crocs, and Keeler just battling all the way for the final points paying position. As Keeler has lost a little bit of time by making a bit of mistakes, and Patrick is just trying to stay here for his life on 16 lap bolt hards. They are definitely gonna be very near the puncture zone, as we see on the tires. They are very grained, so he is probably gonna have to go into the pit lane, and he really is under pressure by the Ferrari of Masijak. And if Ferrari is going to be able to take double points, even though it's going to be 1 point, they are probably going to be very happy with the amount of bad luck that they've had this season.
So, Erwin Curtin is now using DRS on Tomar, but doesn't look like Erwin has got enough ERS, or even any ERS, to fight the Mercedes. Aryan Bilbas stays behind Tony Riche. He's having the ERS for this particular zone. They have both the identical amount of ERS at the moment, which may be very interesting for the later stages of this race. There's Patrick Dugal on the background, fighting with Maciejczak. Also, Omen has been overtaken by Quilpa Vlakovic. Now he can mix a bit of things. And the Alpha Tauri, the sister team, fighting with the 7th. Owen is now side by side with Quill, backs out of the move and stays on the P9. Meanwhile, maybe let's go to the back, because we've got Bodian fighting Mikkelsen at the moment for position number 15. I mean, that's not really a fight, but Darius has still got DRS for the next zone. No, you don't. He still has, but no chance.
Let's also see who has the fastest lap. Tony Rich 130.7. He is gonna get a point for that. Wait, is the rule still applied if you are even below
Yep.
the top 10 that you get fast lap? So maybe Mickelson is gonna get it because he is on the softs, and he might steal that fastest lap off of the Red Bull. But let's see now, is Bilbas maybe gonna try to go for a move on Tony? Not using any ERS, I think he's just gonna be patient here. But we're also not seeing any moves happening behind, but Corton is in a little bit of a trouble here with 8% DRS. He has used every single bit of it to claw himself back onto P4, but now he doesn't have anything to battle with anymore. So I don't think a podium position is gonna be here, as Tony Rich may make some mistake going into turn 4. Bilbas is within a tenth of the Red Bull and close to the diffuser, but just stays behind. He cannot find any place to overtake. And there we go, Mickelson 130.0. That is gonna be 1 point added to his name. But let's see if anyone else who is below the top 10, if anyone else spits and maybe tries to steal it again.
As of now, we're having Arjan Bilbas still in the second place. You said that Tony has done a little bit of a mistake. Good enough for Arjan that he's having a little bit more of that ERS, and he's got DRS from Tony, but his lines right now don't suggest that he'll be able to overtake Tony anytime soon. It might be F1 making a move despite having no ERS, because you can see he's closer to Tom than Arjan is to Tony. Also, Yanni Ducro has got no ERS. Burlini is trying to get into the DRS train, but that isn't the thing right now. Luke Mills will be trying to chase them as well. We know that there's a delta of 8 seconds, but it's like 5 seconds or something like that. As we've got Arjan Bilbas not using any of his ERS. Same applies for Tony. Currently comfortably sitting on the P1. Arjan Bilbas will not make a move on this particular lap, or at least this corner.
As Maurer has gotten himself back a bit closer, 310s, Corton 310s. I mean, I don't think we're gonna see any moves happening anytime soon. Probably around on the final lap or maybe the penultimate lap. I think everyone is just trying to stay here, save ERS, because there's no point in battling now, because you're just gonna be overtaken later and you're just gonna waste your tires and your ERS. So I think people are just trying to be patient here, not only at the front, but also from P8 below, with another DRS train from Owen all the way to Crocs for P8. So people just trying to be patient, but Tony is actually using his ERS.
Yep, he's got way
on
less now.
Straight.
Same plus for Arjan.
Maybe he's just trying to get himself out of the DRS range, but he's not really gonna he's not gonna make it work. He's just, I think, wasting it, which is gonna give Bilbas a better opportunity for the attack later.
I mean, look how close Arjan is to Tony. He might be thinking of taking the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix, because if it's not now, then when? Well, Arjan Bilbas stays on second place still, not making a move still. How about Tomer? He's going a bit wide into turn 4, but it doesn't change the fact he's still on the third place. Irvin did not even think of making a move. As Owen...
As everyone P9 are on 11 lap old mediums, and the first lap is still held by Mickelson. No one is trying to get it.
Yeah, and Owen...
Oh, Corton has overtaken Maurer. Maurer has spun.
He's got a little bit of a mistake. Also, Yanni Ducro had to watch out for Paolo Burlini fighting for the 5th right now. The Alpine driver, he stays behind the Alfa Romeo. But Tomer with a massive mistake probably. We don't know what happened there. We were just focusing on the midfield battle, expecting Owen Hennen to do some miraculous defending for Luke Mills to keep that 7th place. However, everyone is now without DRS.
But it's still gonna be a double podium again for the Red Bull. It's insane how they keep doing this.
Meanwhile, Aryan and
But-
Tony have the same amount of ERS, sorry. Aryan is very close to Tony at the moment. And to turn 1, we'll see how it ends up after turn 3. Darius Bodan causes another yellow flag, but without a safety car, because probably there will be no more safety car in this race. Unless we're watching PSF2, which yesterday, well, I don't want to talk about it personally. However, Aryan keeps himself on position number 2. And maybe we'll think of a move, but on the later stages of the race, on the final laps.
We are also seeing Bilbas drop back a little bit off of the Red Bull, presumably getting affected by the dirty air. And the tires are now gonna be at a very difficult stage. We see Crocs on 18-lap mediums. They should already be dead. So that's probably as long as they can go. So I think the mediums are starting to wear out, going into the puncture zone, and that means that Corton has gotten himself back into the DRS range of the leaders.
Well, we were expecting Tony fighting Aryan Bilbas for the win, but it may be Irvin now joining the battle, as Aryan, I believe, might be out of DRS range now. He is still in the DRS, he's having very little ERS, still a bit more than Tony Ritchie, because Tony Ritchie can see the light already with 3 laps to go in the Bahrain Grand Prix. However, it's not the end of the action, because Aryan Bilbas still within the DRS. It's still not the end. Yanni Tukur thinks of a move on Tom Maurer, but prefers to stay behind in this 3 people DRS train. Going back to Aryan Bilbas, he keeps himself on the second. This time definitely closer to Tony, so Tony must have used some ERS, and this is why he's got away from the Ferrari.
Corton also missed the DRS on the second straight, so it is very close to that 1 second window. As right behind also Maurer, Ducros and Berlini are battling for P4 in today's race. Also having a bit of a squabble. As Tony Rich again uses that esports line, and it's honestly interesting how he didn't get a warning for that.
He's just on the edge.
Oh, he spins a little bit, or makes a little bit of a wheel spin.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a wheel spin as we're approaching Sector 3. Well, Aryan nearly gets a warning for exceeding track limits right here in turn 13. Now we're going to the last corner of the track, turn 14. Yes, it is. You can see the confirmation on the bottom right part of the screen. Aryan Bilbas using DRS this lap. He's closer to Tony Ritchie. This is the penultimate lap. He may be thinking of a move, not quite yet, but on the final lap he's going to go for it. He must go for it if he wants to win. The runner-up of the last season's PC F1 season. He was second, right behind Tuka Rakola, who's unfortunately not racing anymore.
Irvin has spun!
It's Irvin! Irvin spins round, and that means Tony Ritchie, regardless of the result of this battle with Aryan, takes the lead of the championship at the moment after round 5. Whatever happens between them, it's Tony in the lead.
What has happened to Corton? He just had to take it safely to the end, as Bilbas also makes a little bit of a mistake, nearly gets himself out of the DRS range of Tony, but still 9/10. That is gonna be just enough. But it is gonna be the final lap, just in 30 seconds. And he's not gonna be close enough to battle for the win, as he's already out of the DRS range, outside the 1 second. I don't think he's gonna be able to do it, as there's another yellow flag. I think that is for Keeler in P11, just outside the points. But let's see here, Bilbas and Tony, 1 second, 9/10. I think he is gonna get the DRS, but he's not gonna be anywhere close to battle for this. But there is a back marker just in front. A Aston Martin is maybe he gonna be able to do anything. I think he's just gonna give like DRS to the Red Bull as he pulls away. He pulls away, so he just lets him through. But Bilbas is gonna have to stay behind. He closed the gap to 4/10, 5/10. He has DRS once again, but he's nowhere close. There's big collision with Ducros and Berlini going into turn 1. So Corton has gotten himself into P4 because of that. And Luke Mills is going to be in a very good position to also benefit from that. As Berlini spins into the wall. Right after turn 4.
Disaster for the Alpine driver. This is the end. He still might get a point, but that's going to be the most he can get in this race. But knowing he's got a collision with Yanni Ducros, I don't know. He might be reporting the Alfa Romeo driver. However, Bilbas not close enough to get Tony Ricci. The final stages of the race proved that we've got probably very worn medium tires. Like, not probably, definitely very worn tires. Which will mean one thing. Drivers will have to take care of crossing the line rather than attacking positions ahead of them. As
we also saw Crocs waiting for new softs because the tires were dead already.
well, this is the end of today's race as Tony Ricci is crossing the line to get his second victory of the season. And is this the lead of the championship? We'll see very soon as Bodian lets past another other drivers. Maurer finishes third, Bilbas finishes second, and Curtin is in fourth. Yanni Ducros, P5 for him, despite the contact with Berlini. Luke Mills finishes sixth, then we've got Pawlakovic, Heinen, Maciejczak. Heinen with first points of the season. Berlini is going to have a single point.
After Crashgate.
Let's also see if Crocs can go into the have a fastest lap of this race. Currently it's Mikkelsen having it. We'll see, he's got very little ERS. Was it enough? Definitely not, because it's already 30s, 31. No. He's still improved though.
And Drake crashes P15.
Yep, and that is the end
What
of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Those final laps were something else.
Quill driver of the day from last to, I think, 7th. Honestly, pretty impressive. Not gonna lie. But also with Tony, he just he was in a league of his own in this race. But also Bilbas, he did a very good job to try and get his first win of the season. But even though he wasn't really that close, it was still a very good effort by the Ferrari and still gets 18 points in the standings.
So, is Sony taking the championship? 94 plus 25 bring us to him having, it's not 90, 79 plus 25, it's 104. And Evan, 94 plus 13, yep, Curtin is still in the lead of the championship. We said he's not taking it, but Ducros and Berlini made us a favor. Well, actually made him a favor and kept Evan on the lead of the championship. These are the official results. Tony Ricci wins the race. Then we've got Arian Bilbas, Tom Bauer, Evan Curtin, Yanni Ducros, Luke Mills, Puil Pawlakovic, Owen Heinen with the first points of the season, Patrick Maciejczak, and Paolo Berlini. Filip Kiera is the first driver not to get points. Then we've got Fraser Robertson, Wojciech Crocs, Jakob Mikkelsen, Patrick Dugail, Darius Bodejan, who has been the only driver left, but at least congratulations for him for trying not to race with ABS and racing without ABS. Then we've got Okinski, Harvey, and Lucas Derksen, all without crossing the line.
Interesting. Very, very interesting race. That battle between the top 5 right in the middle of the race was very exciting to watch. But congratulations to Tony yet again for the win of the race, Bilbas for P2, and Maurer for the final step on the podium. Well, I think the game is glitched, so that's nice.
Okay. Then we're going to the conference scene. We don't need music, I think, as we're probably moving to the conference room and wait for the top 3, who are Ricci, Bilbas, Maurer, but Ricci already said he cannot attend. Okay. I can assume that Quill is going to join. Like, just wait for it.
Bilbas is already waiting. I'm gonna move him.
Okay. Yep, there we go. We've got a second place finisher called Aryan Bilbas. Very close to the victory. And I've got a question. Why only second?
Well, yeah, my point was when Tony overtook me is to stay behind him and go for it on the last lap. But I made a mistake coming out of turn 8. I was too far behind him to catch up on him.
Yep. Any more comments about today's race, because that was very entertaining at the front of the grid with you and Richa fighting, especially.
Well, yeah, I had a great start coming from P4 to P2 before the first turn. Then Curtin had to pit because he was on the softs at the start. So I was leading the race behind the safety car, and then when I was warming up my tires, I unfortunately spun. So I came back to P4. And after that, really, the safety car restart was a messy one, but I managed to gain one position again. And then, yeah, it just came around.
Yep. Well, updates from the paddock. We've just been reported, not officially, but Tom Maurer has seen Evan Curtin using the reset to track button, which is forbidden unless you're stuck on the curb. Like literally, because we've seen this behavior on the game. A couple of shots there it is. But still, we can see Evan getting 10-second time penalty, pushing him all the way down to 6th place, promoting Dukrot 4th and Mills to 5th. But it's going to be subject for further investigation because, well, it's not an official report yet.
Oh yeah, if he finishes P7 or P8, then it's better for the constructors also
Yep.
to gain back from Red Bull.
Yeah. Your teammates finished P9 as well. Well, we've got Tomer also in the chat in the meantime. Where is our conference? He should be here. Yes, hello, Tom. So, I was literally speaking a moment ago that you might have seen Irvin using Reset to Track. Can you confirm or deny the words?
Oh yeah, so he was 3 seconds ahead of me, spun out of turn 2 and reset right back onto the racing line. So.
That would make sense, pushing him all the way down to P6. But I think he's going to be P5 if Ducro is found guilty on the incident with Borlini.
But he also, where's that if he gets 5s? Well, how much is a reset to track? He spun me round too.
It's 10 seconds for him if he resets to track, or anyone else.
And then might be another 5 for spinning me round, so see.
We'll see. There's probably going to be a couple of penalties after this race. Robbie is going to have a lot of work to do with me probably after the on the race director, which will be probably on Tuesday at 7 PM UK. Also, the chat 69XYZ best adult dating site. We don't want any dating right now. It's for racing. That was just a bot on the chat. Anyway, speaking of which, any more comments?
Hard pace was horrible, don't know why. And I expected us to start on warm tires, which we didn't. So obviously starting on softs made sense, but then the first safety car kind of screwed him over. And I don't know what start Ilbas got. Felt like he was on warm tires. But yeah, I think that we can start on warm tires. We don't need formation lap, but broadcast pit stop. I think we should really find a solution for next race to start on warm tires. Then there also will be way less incidents.
We're turning the formation lap off. That's for sure for the next race weekend, unless it's fixed, of course. And speaking of pit stop broadcast experience, it was an immersive. Like, I've seen
No,
drivers.
it was immersive now.
I've seen, for example, Ryan King in PSF1. I guess it was Austrian Grand Prix. That he's got broadcast safety car whilst everyone else was on immersive. So this might be from in the settings of a driver.
I don't know, but okay. Also, what I want to point out is that in the pit stop, the game held me, so Bill Bass got past me in the pit stop, which then led to me being P3 and being able to be hit from behind. So great game. But it's better than last week. We recovered, and then I guess we go for the win in Monza.
Well, Monza will be something else. I'm hyped for it.
And one's gonna be fun, like the sprint race in season 6 that we did.
Yup.
If you remember, it's gonna be phenomenal. Cars upside down.
You just reminded me of Bodian being literally crushed for no reason in turn 1 on the lap 1 of PCF2 Italian Grand Prix. Like, there was a carnage to the midfield and it just got him. He was second. Anyway, anything else? Because we're about to switch into PSF1. Not British. Bahrain Grand Prix.
Not really. I mean, GG's to Erwin, Tony, and especially Bill Bass, because he said he didn't practice, but that was obviously cap. But yeah, Tony with the dub again. Don't know what happened to him in quali. We both completely bottled quali, and Tony had an absolutely amazing lap. But then the race was kind of the other way around for Tony and Erwin, and I was just like average all the way through. So it is an improvement from Australia, but I'll definitely try and improve in Monza again. That really wasn't ideal today.
Yup. So that is the end of the Bahrain Grand Prix. In half an hour, we're starting PSF1 race, commentated by Luke Jobson. As we've got Ryan King leading by 18 points ahead of Guillaume Darunia. Also, Aurélien Lepenro might have been joining the fight. Yep. That's it for today's race. Make sure to like and subscribe, because it's worth it. That's the top one thing I'm going to say. As we're turning off the stream. Goodbye.